Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff Twitter and YouTube network. I am your host at Pucking Thoughts. The man to my right is at Mr. Jared Moore on Twitter. Jared, how are we doing on this mid-July summer day, we'll call it?
Yeah, mid-July summer day is factually accurate, so we can go with that. It's a mid-July summer day. Still recovering from a barbecue over the weekend. And recovering is kind of a loose term because I don't really drink anymore, but lengthy drive to get there. The two things I will say about it, one, the Jersey summer is just undefeated. Just like no matter where you go, just like hanging out and just like, just being with good friends, good people, good food, and all that sort of stuff. That it just rules. It's awesome, and it's one of those things I'm always going to appreciate. And the second thing is I've never been a big Central Jersey's a thing guy. But yeah, where I was, which I was not familiar with that part of state. I don't want to say what town, but Central Jersey is very much a thing, and it's very different from North Jersey and South Jersey.
So as a guy born and raised in Brooklyn and lived there a long time, I've always stayed out of the Jersey debates of Taylor roll versus pork ham. Is there a central New Jersey? But like me as a geography guy, there absolutely is a central New Jersey. Like, and it does exist. It's like South Jersey's like a Philly extension, North Jersey's like a New York extension, and then you got that little slice in the middle there.
Right, and like it's definitely not too far from Farland. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but like it was really nice residential area, and I'm sure the homes there are very expensive, but it was really cool place to go to. So
nice.
The only complaints to drive, but the drive is it's Jersey. Once you get on the highway, it's fine.
Exactly. I used to go out to the PNC Bank Art Center a lot in New Jersey. So I get the summer Jersey vibe because it's just like it does have like a cool thing to it. But good to hear you're enjoying summer. We just had my daughter's 5th birthday party over the weekend. It's not for like another week, but that was like the closest Saturday we can get. But so yeah, I'm in slight recovery mode from that as well. But I think we got to get things rolling here. And the first thing we got to do is we got to give you the pack ripping lineup for today. And we're going pretty heavy baseball today, a little bit of hockey. But let's bring it up on the screen there. We talked hockey. We got some 2021, 2022 O-Pee-Chee. You could see the rookies there: Cole Caulfield, Trevor Zegras, Jeremy Swayman. That's one that's emerged over the last year. And then in the middle there, there's no Adam or Jared designation because coincidentally we both decided we wanted to do these 1990 Topps traded packs. So we got some cool rookies there: Carlos Baerga, John Oru, David Justice, Travis Fryman. So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of those Topps traded packs there. And Jared, what do you got there for the other baseball?
Oh, so for the other baseball, this is one of the cheap packs I saw the other day. I don't want to say the other day, but a few weeks ago when I went to Toy Wiz, Sports Illustrated, presented by Fleer Baseball 1998 cards. I guess these are really more of like a spring training set because it has like spring training photos. I'm not really 100% sure how that works, but 5 cards per pack and 1 mini poster. You see the rookies there: Maglio Ordonez, Frank Calanato. Let's see. On the back, it says 200 basic cards, 126 scouting report, 30 ones to watch, 24 year in review, and 20 of baseball's best. And also, I'll just show you real quick here while I read it here. Mini posters, 1-in-1, 10 covers, 1 out of 9 packs, 10 editor's choice, 1 out of 24, 6 autograph redemption cards, limited to 250 of each player. So we'll see if we can actually pull one of those autographs. It says to look for it. And even on the front, it says redemption cards for Ben Grieve, Jose Cruz Jr., and others. I'm not really expecting it, but who knows? You pull an autograph. It's always fun to pull an autograph.
And Frank Catalanato is the second best rookie in that class of that, because that's a limit. It was like 130 card set, so it's not an extensive set, but that was like the second best rookie available. So we'll see what happens there. Now, before we get pack ripping here, we do have a couple of cards we want to show for I Love Loosey. But first, always got to start our show off with Rip N Rant. It's time to kick things off on Rip N Riff with
my Rip N Rant.
Thanks, Dave. Yes, indeed. I've got like I've got a good one and like not a bad
This is
one.
all
But
you.
so
Yeah, this is all you. I don't have a good one this week, so I'll let you double up.
So Jared's sitting this one out. So good one, first one. I got to give a quick shout out to the people at Snoopy's Home Ice, aka Redwood Empire Ice Arena. That is the rink where I play on my Thursday night league. But every summer in the middle of July, they do something called the International Senior Ice Hockey Tournament. They break it into brackets from 40 and above, all the way up to a 70 and above bracket. And it's great because it's hockey round the clock. First game starts at like 7, 8 in the morning. And then like last game will drop the puck at like 10 o'clock at night, sometimes 11. And they do that for a little over a week. So I used to go pre-pandemic. It was way more of an international thing. Like there was a team from Sweden. There's a team there. I mean, I know it's not international, but Alaska's a long way to come for a hockey tournament down to Northern California. So like they do get teams from all over. There's a couple of teams that come out from New York for this every year. So it's like it's an event, and it's just really cool because there's no charge for admission. So
All right,
I got free hockey on 5 minutes from my house. It's great.
All right, let me interrupt you real quick. You said 40 and then over 70. Are you referring to age?
Yes.
Okay, you may continue. I'm just trying to picture a bunch of 70-year-olds on ice skates trying to play hockey.
So I'll say this: when you're watching like older guys play, it's actually fascinating because it's more like a chess match. The way they move the puck and pass, it's like at that age you have to do tape to tape. You have and they're not moving as slow as you think, but it's cool. I'm trying to get into that next year. So I just got to say, like I went last night, I went on Saturday for a game. I'm going again tonight, and then I'm going to take my daughter there for a little daddy-daughter date and dinner, later on in the week. So it's just. Got to give a shout out to that because like anytime you can watch free local hockey 5 minutes from your house, and it's a cool annual event. It's just I love that. I look forward to it every year, and I'm glad it came back after the pandemic.
Very nice.
Now the other one that I need to there's this, and I know it's been going around for a little bit here, but this trend of raw dogging flights. Are you aware of what this is now?
No, you're going to have to elaborate on this one for me.
So raw dogging a flight is not where you think. It's not in the context of the usual raw dogging. It's basically you go like if you've ever seen the episode of Seinfeld where Putty's just staring at the seat in front of him. That's basically what you're doing. Is you're getting on a flight and you're not listening to music, you're not reading, you're not watching anything on the screen in front of you. You're allowed to watch the map sometimes that they have on the planes of the progress. That's all you're allowed to, and then you just sit there and you don't sleep. You don't do anything for the duration of your flight. This is raw dog. And like, we're not talking like 2-hour flights. Like people are posting like just did an 8-hour flight raw. Just did like a 12, whatever the case may be. And I just don't understand why this is a thing. Like, why are we trying to like, what are we trying to prove here? That you can sit in complete and utter isolation, doing absolutely nothing for an extremely long period of time. Good for you. But like, I don't understand like why this is like why we're proud to do this. Like personally, I like when I get on a plane to put on some music, and this is pre-child, without flying with a child, which I'm about to do. That should be a thing. Do like a 12-hour flight with like a 4-year-old and hold your sanity. That would be something I'd be more impressed to watch. And like, oh, like you got people posting online, like just raw dogged it from Los Angeles to Singapore or something like that. Like, good for you, but who cares? Like, why is this impressive?
Yeah, there's so many different entertainment options nowadays. I mean, like, if I were going to take a long flight, probably just break out the Nintendo Switch. That would probably be the way to go. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I could say as someone who commuted into the city for work every day for however many years it was that we worked at Sirius, that I was not raw dogging the train ride in. Let's just say that. Like I was always music on the headphones with the iPod or the phone, and or maybe a video game or something along those lines. So and that was for a 40-minute train ride or whatever to Hoboken before catching a connecting train. Like I can't imagine doing that for like a 5.5-hour flight from like New York to LAX. Like I just couldn't picture doing that.
No, like I would just fall asleep, but that's the thing. It's like you're not supposed to sleep either. So it's like, well, what are we doing here? And yeah, same thing for me. Like my commute when I worked at Sirius was basically like an hour door to door, and I was like a couple of minute walk from the train station. But yeah, I would either iPod, read, or take a nap. I'd sleep as long as it wasn't like the overnight hours. I don't care about sleeping on the train. As long as I got the window seat, I can, put my head there and knock out for 40 minutes.
I was the Michael Jordan of being able to take the nap on the train and like not miss my stop.
So I produced morning radio for a long time, as you know, and I never missed going live. I came close once because I woke up at 125th Street, Harlem, instead of Rockefeller Center. And I got back with like 20 seconds to spare before we went live. And I'm using the update as a buffer to help me there at the 2 minutes at the top of the hour. But yeah, like I never missed it. But yeah, like what was cool about the subway trains of that morning is once people saw like you were there every day and like everybody kind of went to the same seats because it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. Not that many people. People would actually like nudge you like, hey, bud, just stop. Like you looked out for people. That was nice.
Who says New Yorkers don't look out for each other?
They do in a community like that, absolutely. Like, hey, you're on the train at 4 a.m. like me every day. I'm gonna make sure you don't miss your stop, just like you make sure I don't miss mine. Like, nobody wants to miss their stop at that time in the morning. There we go. So I don't get why this is like a thing to be proud of. Like, I don't know, but I as I get older, I don't get a lot of it. There we go. Before we get pack ripping here, we've got a lot of baseball, a little bit of hockey today. We got to get to another favorite segment of ours, and we'll let Jared kick this off in a second. But what's it called? There it is, folks. I Love Loosey, and this is a segment that Jared created, and I love it. And he's going to kick off today. We both got one.
Yeah, I'm going to kick this one off today, and this is a card that I feel like I might have brought up before on the show. Maybe I haven't, and you can tell me. But now since then, it has now come into my possession. So this is a Leaf Ultimate Hockey Mount Rushmore card, 7 out of 10 limited edition. It's a patch card, and so Mount Rushmore. You're talking about 4 legends here.
Wow.
So this is the Devils version of it. Now, this card is interesting for a variety of reasons because you have the obvious legends. You have Marty Brodeur, you have Scott Stevens, you have Patrick Elias. What makes this card really interesting is that they have Niedermeyer, but they don't have the right Niedermeyer. They have Rob Niedermeyer, number 21, instead of Scott Niedermeyer, number 27.
I got to be honest, when you first put the card on the screen, I'm like, who the hell is a 21 Devils legend? Like, I can't the other 3 obviously pop right out. They did get the wrong Niedermeyer there, didn't they?
Right, and it's just fascinating. And it says the names below. You could probably barely see it with me tilting the cards here, but it says Rob Niedermeyer right there. And maybe it's a mistake. You think along those lines. Nope, same thing on the back as well. So it has all the numbers there, and it says they're right there in plain text. Rob Niedermeyer. So this is one of those cards. I actually want to contact our buddy Nando and see if I can get Brian Gray on an email and just see if I can get an explanation for this card, because it just makes no sense to me. And because it makes no sense to me and the novelty of it, that's why I love this card.
I'm going to say what happened is this. Maybe Scott Niedermeyer was out partying the night before whenever they were supposed to be give the jersey, like to drop it off. And he woke up the next day. He's like, oh man, he's like, I can't find the jersey. I'm hungover. Rob, do me a solid. You're a Niedermeyer. It's close enough. Just go drop one of your Devil game jerseys off and they're over there. I don't know. I'm pulling this out, making this up as I go. It's not even like they took like a guy, like a B-rate Devils kind of guy. You know what I mean? Not to say
it's not like you put like Randy McKay on there.
Right, exactly. Like, okay, at least he was a Devils fixture in his era for a little bit, Like Rob Niedermeyer was there, what, like 2 years, if that?
Something. Yeah, Lou finally got him after Scott left.
Rob Niedermeyer. Let's pull this up on Hockey Reference here. Devils.
See, my working theory behind this is that whoever put the card together just didn't know anything about the Devils, and they knew like Niedermeyer was a big player for the Devils, but they didn't bother to check which one. So they're like, Rob Niedermeyer, it's good enough.
Rob, let's see here. He played with the Devils one season, folks. One season. 2009, 2010.
Exactly. Yes.
10 goals, 12 assists.
Not bad for like a bottom of the lineup forward, but not exactly what you were looking for. And that was many years after the fact. And that's well after Scott had left for Anaheim. So.
So let me ask you this: Scott is the fourth on the Mount Rushmore if you're making a Devils Mount Rushmore? Because you can't argue the other three, I don't think. Like, or do you put Ken Danico there? Like, who's that fourth then if it's not Rob Niedermeyer?
I think if you were actually doing the Mount Rushmore, I would take Elias out and put Danico in.
Okay, and then
along with Scott and both Scotts, Stevens and Niedermeyer and Marty. Because the Devils are, certainly in their heyday, that's a team that where you know them for their defense and the neutral zone trap and playing tight games. And Elias is the greatest forward in franchise history, or at least he will be until Jack Hughes breaks all of his records one day. But I feel like if you were doing a Devils Mount Rushmore, it needs to be defense heavy. So I would actually go with the third defenseman there with Ken Danico, who literally is Mr. Devil.
Yeah, he's Mr. Devil. He's most games franchise played. He was one of the original guys that was there on the move. So and he
still calls the games.
Still calls the games, and he's like one of the nicest guys I've ever worked with. When I previously briefly produced a show, Icebreakers, with him and Ron Duguay. So yeah,
he was Dano's the man.
Dano's cool dude. But yeah, it's a great card, especially with that little twist of the Niedermeyer too. Like it would be a cool card to show if you had the right four, but just having that in there is like a nice little like in the collection when you're flipping through. It's a good story.
I'm going to reach out to Nando. I'm going to see if I can get Brian's email address and just ask about this card, because I'm probably going to write about it for All About the Jersey at some point. Because that's part of the reason why I've been going Devils heavy on some of these cards is I actually want like a nice little baseline collection of them to talk about in a story. And like just the novelty of this particular card is like why I want it in the collection. And the fact it's 7 out of 10, it's pretty rare. So like this wasn't a cheap card. I spent like $75 on it, but I feel like this is money well spent.
And it's for a website called All About the Jersey. I mean, it's a Jersey card. I mean, it just makes way too much sense there. So yeah, that was a cool one. Now my turn to bring one up, and Devils are one of your teams. The Yankees are another one of your teams. So we've got a Bernie Williams swatch patch card there. And what I liked about that is sometimes with a lot of the Yankee patches, there's a gray jersey. No, I wanted something that had a pinstripe in it. And there it is right there. I have a Mariano Rivera one coming. That was a gray one, but obviously Rivera is a little bit more pricey than Bernie Williams. Bernie, my all-time favorite Yankee, probably my all-time favorite baseball player. So I'm starting to slowly add to my, the guys I collect, which is basically Brian Leetch, Bernie Williams, Curtis Martin, Bo Lewis. There's really not much of him out there, but whatever I could find to him. Those are like my guys. And I try to get patch cards. I don't have the budget to go for the autographs on some cases, but I always love the game worn stuff. It's always a cool one to have.
Very cool. Could we see the back of that card?
Absolutely. I did just lose a Brian Leetch auction. It was from his All-Star jersey in '94 when they had the teal ones, and there was like a piece of stick in there. Like it was starting to get a little too rich for my blood, but I was on that one. I actually woke up this morning early for the auction just to see if it had gotten too pricey, and it had. I was like, all right. But yeah, there's the back. Just tells you you've received get Bernie Williams game used jersey trading card from the Upper Deck Company. Blah 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 blah. So it's not numbered. It's that's always a nice thing to have, but still cool card. Like I said, I wanted the one with the pinstripe, and I got it. So nice to bring that out there.
Very nice. I guess it doesn't say on that card like what year this happened to come from. I mean, I'm sure there's it came from a specific line with Upper Deck. But,
so it's a 2002 card, but
okay.
So who knows? So I would assume this is from maybe the prior season, but sometimes they have these things sitting around from like however many years. They donate a jersey and it just sits there. So yeah. I love our little I Love Loosey segment there. Get to show off some pool cards there and things we're proud to have. So yeah, there we go. I think we're ready to get back. Rip in here. What do you say?
All right, let's go, baby.
All right. So you want me to kick off with hockey and then we'll just go exclusively baseball the rest of the way?
Yeah, why don't you do that? Because we'll cross over when we do the traded ones.
Exactly. All right. So the quiet part of the NHL calendar. The season has happened. Everybody gets to go on vacation. Not much else happening right now. But wanted to rip a couple of packs here. Let's bring up the old West Coast Rip Cam again. All right. And first up, we have the franchise cornerstone defenseman for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Mr. Victor Hedman.
Yeah, newly extended, and definitely not a coincidence that the Lightning turned around and handed them the exact same contract that the Nashville Predators handed Steven Stamkos. I'm sure that wasn't done by design.
Not at all. Not at all. It was just a coincidental numbers game there. But they also, don't forget, they traded Mikhail Sergachev out to Utah there. So Utah's got their franchise cornerstone defenseman as well for a while, at least to get off the ground. So
all right, let's talk about Tampa for a second. And I'm sorry
Sure.
to keep interrupting you because
I don't care.
yeah, they lose Stamkos, they trade away Sergachev. The roster kind of is what it is at this point. Like obviously they add Gensel, and that's a big time replacement for Stamkos. He is younger, but this is a team that had just had 98 points last year, and that was with Kucherov going nuclear and posting 140 points or whatever he was and finishing second in the Hart voting. I feel like of all the playoff teams in the Eastern Conference, Washington and the Islanders, I guess, are probably the most vulnerable. I don't think Tampa's that far behind them in terms of somebody could come and take their spot.
I agree, except they have Vasilevsky, and that he still plays at an all-world level. So as long as he's still playing as a top 5 goalie, then they got that. I mean, yeah, when you look, they got a strong top line, but then they just got Cam Atkinson off the scrap heap, and he's projected to be their second line right wing.
I don't think that's a good thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. But on defense, they bring McDonough back. Listen, I know he's old, but he still brings that reliable game on a second pairing. JJ Moser, who they got back from Utah and the Sergachev trade, is a solid defenseman. Perbix is supposed to take another step this year. So I mean, they're I don't think they're on the level. They actually, I mean, maybe they are on the level of the Capitals of the Islanders now, but I still think Vasilevsky kind of just keeps them out of that tier a little bit. But
right, and I would still put them above Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa in that Atlantic Division. So, but I feel like Tampa is very much a fringe team that's just holding on to the last legs of what they were.
I think they've probably got maybe 2 more, because I mean, don't forget Kucherov was a Hart finalist and put that team on his back. How many more years is he going to be able to do that? I think this is probably the last year of Tampa Bay being a for sure playoff team, and then maybe next year it gets dicey. But it's a tough division in the Atlantic. You got Florida, Toronto, Boston, Buffalo and Detroit. Maybe they're, I'm not going to say Detroit, but maybe Buffalo actually takes a step this year. So we'll see.
I'm not buying Buffalo. Not with their goaltending.
Exactly. I don't either, but I mean, people were crazy about them making the jump last year. Maybe Devon Levi figures it out this year for them if he ends up getting another chance at the crease, which I'm sure he will at some point. Let's see here. We'll stay in the state of Florida. We got Sasha Barkov there. There you go. Just the all-around great hockey player there. Messier threw a ton of praise on him throughout the playoffs, just being one of the best 200 feet players there are out there. So, yeah, I would love to have a Sasha Barkov on my team.
Yeah, he's a really good defensive center, and he's probably going to be in that Patrice Bergeron. Now that he's retired, he's going to win the Selke every year. I'm not saying that the reputation's not warranted, because obviously he's a great player, but you know how a lot of these awards are also reputation based. So you could definitely see Barkov just going off and ripping off 6 Selkies in a row now.
Absolutely, yeah. He there's no reason he can't. He is the top defensive forward in the league, and definitely brings enough offense, because that's the other thing about the Selke. You got to have some sort of offensive component to your game. You can't just be a shutdown guy. Let's see. We got a marquee rookie here, Lane Peterson of the Coyotes, now Utah Hockey Club. Again, hoping it's the Mammoth. Let's see here. We got Mike Hoffman. Guy bounces around the league. Still has a great hair. I mean, in pregame warm-ups, that hair is just unbelievable.
Solid salad he's working there up top. But still sitting out there in free agency. I feel like he's kind of a limited player, and teams just if you look at the list of free agents that are still available, there's a lot of C-tier scoring wingers out there, but they're all flawed players. They don't really do much in terms of the two-way game, and it just kind of is what it is.
They're waiting out injuries at this point to get a spot on a team to fill a third line wing spot or something like that. Here's a guy that played on your team for a very long time, Mr. Zach Parise.
Yeah, it looks like he's called it a career. Obviously, a really good career for Zach Parise. So shout out to him. What year is this pack?
This is a 2021-22 pack.
Got it.
All right. Next, we got speaking of the Devils, Nolan Foote.
Yeah, that's interesting that they put him in this pack and not a rookie card either. Yeah, he's a guy who's a restricted free agent. He'll probably be in the mix for a roster spot next year, but it's gonna be tough with a lot of the players they brought in. Like they brought in a bunch of bottom six forwards like Stefan Nason and Tomas Tatar and the Paul Cotter trade. So and they have guys in Utica who are going to be pushing for that spot as well. Like Chase Stillman's a former first round pick. So I don't know how Nolan Foote's going to fit into the equation. So I guess time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see if he has a spot on the roster, if he's going to be spending a lot of time up with Utica is the AHL affiliate there. And then we got Sebastian Aho, tall boy there. The little thin ones there.
Little tall boy. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, we like Sebastian Aho. Really good player.
And a guy, you could probably snag in your fantasy drafts there in the fourth, fifth, sixth round and get a lot of bang for your buck. And to wrap this pack up, Mr. Filipino, who injury definitely had an impact on the Rangers down the stretch.
Yeah, I hope for his sake that he can put the concussion issue behind him and he can go on to have a normal career. Obviously, he made it back for the playoffs. He played in a couple playoff games for him. So hopefully he's 100% and good to go for his sake. So, you don't want to see a guy's career get derailed by injuries. So,
no, absolutely not. Now we go on to pack number 2 here. We'll start off with Mr. Tyler Bertuzzi. Picture there with the Red Wings, kind of bounced around a little bit, but we'll see what comes with him this year with the Blackhawks. Speaking of the Blackhawks, former senator as well, Alex DeBrincat, now in Detroit. So kind of an interesting little full circle back-to-back cards there.
How about that? Yeah.
Let's see here. We got a rookie season review. Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov collects 51 points in the rookie season there. So that's a cool little card there. If you're a Kaprizov collector, probably one you want in your collection. Let's see what else we got here. We got the parallel here, or Braden Point. We talked about the Tampa Bay Lightning before, and he's also another guy that kind of gets overlooked. Like he's never going to win like an MVP or anything like that, but he is still a bona fide top line center and makes that line hum there in Tampa.
Yeah, really good player, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on him now with Stamkos leaving. Like he's the unquestioned top center in Tampa. Like it's him and Cirelli and I don't know, I guess Nick Paul down the middle.
Yeah.
I don't even know who their fourth line center is nowadays. I don't think Tyler Mott's there anymore. So, it's really tough. Yeah, and like Glenn Denning's fine. He's a fourth line center.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. And he's got Zemgus Jurgensen's on that line too, somebody else they brought in. So yeah, they made an effort to kind of fill out that bottom part a little bit. Jacob Voracek there, longtime Flyer, also with the Blue Jackets. Great beard, always had a top-notch beard. Let's see here.
Shout out to him for a pretty good career.
Yeah, you want to talk about good careers. Jeff Carter, Kings, Penguins, multiple Stanley Cups, just a guy that, started in the top 6 and kind of as his career went on towards the end, like worked his way down the lineup, but was still an effective player throughout. So happy trails to him. He just retired. Let's see here. We got 2 more cards in this pack. Go back to the Panthers for a little bit. Aaron Ekblad. And finally, we talked about the Sabres before, and if they're going to make the jump into the playoffs, this guy's going to have to stay healthy and contribute all year long, Mr. Tage Thompson.
Yeah, they kind of go as the Sabres kind of go as Tage Thompson goes, isn't it? So, and he's a guy who broke out 2 years ago in a huge way with all those goals and dealt with injuries last year, and hopefully he can stay healthy and put up a big year for him. But like, even if he does, I still don't trust the Sabres. And like, I'm trying not to shit on Lindy Ruff, but like, I'm just not a fan of him as a coach, and I'm not a fan of the system that he runs, and the lack of defense and lack of attention to detail defensively. And I don't think that's going to be any better in Buffalo with goaltending that probably isn't better than anything he had in Jersey. So I'm very skeptical on Buffalo being the team to take the next step.
Yeah, again in that division too, it's tough. There's just there's only so many playoff spots, and three of them or four of them are pretty much locked up. So it's there. There's a lot of teams trying to get that last wild card spot. So we'll see what happens there. But that's that's the hockey portion of the show. Now it's time to go and do a little. I'm going to start with the top straighted baseball, and then Jared's going to take the baton and then go through his baseball pack. So let's start with pack one. These are only 7-card packs, like Jared said earlier. Get that on the screen. A lot of green packs today.
Were these some of the packs I sent you?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I think this is from the Christmas episode we did last year.
Nice.
So we got Carmelo Martinez. Shout out Carmelo Anthony. Would rather have that card. Let's see here. We got Shane Mack, base runner in his day with the Twins. I do love these like multicolored like border, like it's so like late 80s, early 90s. Got John.
I love the design. I've never heard of these players.
Yeah, John Tudor, decent pitcher his day. Here's a guy maybe you remember, Kevin Moss from the Yankees.
Yeah, there you go.
I was a big Kevin Moss fan. He was he was probably my favorite player before Bernie Williams like started like coming up there. This is not a great pack. We got Billy Hatcher with the Reds, Nick Isaski from the Braves, and I only know how to pronounce that because that came out on a Junk Wax Sal short. Shout out to him. And then Chris James, the Indian. So that could set the record as worst pack we've ever opened on this show.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have another pack to go, and I got 2 of them here, so we could definitely sink lower.
Let's see. We start off with a Randy Veres. Then, oh yeah, we're in the running here. Then we got Dave Schmidt. And we got Mark Davis. Oh, we got the Travis Fryman rookie. All right, that saved it right there. We got a rookie card.
There you go. Yeah, that'll pay for Annabelle's college fund.
Yeah, let me get that in a penny slip. Yeah, that's maybe it'll pay for like I don't even know what they need for college nowadays. But it's a Travis Fryman rookie. It's one of the better ones from the series, so I'm gonna put that in the sleeve here. Make sure that stays safe.
She might be able to get a cup of coffee at Cal Berkeley in 25 in 15 years.
See what coffee costs nowadays? Tom Bruansky from the Red Sox, Tim Leary from the Yankees, and Stan Javier from the Dodgers. So basically, this just a hot pile of garbage, that pack.
Yeah, this is rough. Now I can understand why we put this pack off for as long as we did.
Well, when it comes to who had the better, pullout game today, so far, you've got a very low bar to clear. I might be one of those hockey cards for me, but it's or Travis Fryman rookie, but you might win for the first time, but we'll see.
No, I won last week with Manny.
Oh, that's right, you did win last week, so you could even it up because I'm up 2-1. So
fair enough. All right, let me pull up the East Coast cam. So I'll go right into it. We start with Sandy Alomar Jr. So big name player there to start off the pack. We certainly like that. Jack Savage from the Minnesota Twins. Badass name. A manager card here. Bobby Cox, legendary Atlanta Braves manager.
Okay.
Brad Arnsberg with the Texas Rangers. Sean Bosky with the Chicago Cubs. We got our first duplicate here. I also have a Carmelo Martinez Phillies card, so we have that in common, along with having Shane Mack in common. Return of the Mack. So there you go.
So yeah, those packs may have come. They might have been right near each other.
Oh man, and I do want to highlight the back of these cards as well at some point because I love the old school look of them. But yeah, let's go knock out the other pack real quick. Let's see. John Olerud.
Okay.
Maybe a John Olerud rookie. Was he one of the listed rookies?
That is absolutely a rookie. So there we go. So we got the Fryman and we got the Olerud.
Yeah, so how about that? We got Dave Parker, a pretty good player in his day with the Brewers. Tony Pena, longtime manager, bench coach here as the catcher of the Red Sox. Jeff Houston, the Rangers. Kevin Romine with the Red Sox. No idea if he's related to Austin Romine. My guess is probably not. Brad Kaminsky with the Baltimore Orioles. And last but not least, Junior Ortiz with the Minnesota Twins. And just want to highlight the back of one of these cards. You love that classic look there.
Yeah.
The name of the big font there. And the whole top section where it lists all the details like height and weight, where he's from. and then line by line with the stats. They just don't make baseball cards like this anymore.
They don't. And a little fun fact about the back of the cards, and I believe I put this up on the screen earlier. The variation, so the factory versus the wax pack. So the wax packs that we open are going to have that like grayish yellow tinge to the back, whereas it's going to be white on the factory set. So if you bought the whole set, it's going to have a white back versus that. So that was literally that, back in the late 1990, that was all you had for a variation. So more baseball to come here, though.
Yeah, so let's see what we got with the Sports Illustrated Fleer cards. A-Rod's on the cover. I don't know what happened to him in his career. I'm going to guess he turned out to be pretty okay. Hopefully, didn't have any performance enhancers or anything along those lines. Don't want to tell you.
I think he had a nice, consistent career.
Yep. So we're going to start here. I already love these cards. The very first card out of the pack looks like an old Sports Illustrated cover. This actually might have been a cover back in the day. But you have Matt Williams here, giant among men, slugger. Matt Williams keeps putting up huge numbers. I believe this actually probably was a magazine cover because you could see very small text right there.
It's the actual, that is one of the inserts, is the actual SI covers. So that to me alone makes the pack worth it. Like, if you get, especially like if you're a Giants fan, you're happy to pull that one out for sure.
Yep. So that's a pretty cool card. You're going to love this card, being the big Bernie Williams guy you are. Nice Bernie Williams card right there.
Yeah, you could put that in the trade ski pile if you're interested.
Yeah, we could certainly arrange that, and so you can see what the back of the card looks like. So, nice clean display there with all the stats and everything there.
I feel like the late 90s is where they were able to really start getting like creative like that. Like you could see the stadium backdrop behind the stats. Like that's where you were able to really start using like photos and stuff like that and really make the cards pop.
Yep. Let's see. We have Mark McGwire, the one-time home run king for the single season.
Now, yeah, that's that was the same year that he actually did the record.
Yep. Let's see. Craig Biggio, Hall of Famer with the Houston Astros.
One of the rare players that went right down the middle of the field in his career. Catcher, second base, center field.
Yep. And last but not least from this pack, we have Greg Maddux, another Hall of Famer. And we also have the mini poster, and I'm going to open that up real quick so you can kind of see what that looks like.
Ooh. This was probably one of the better packs we've opened here in a while.
Yep. All right. So this poster rocks. It's Fernando Vina, and it has the Brewers schedule on there for 1998.
It looks like Rusty Greer sliding in there.
Yeah, Rusty Greer sliding in second base, and you could see. It's a pretty clean look for what the schedule looks like. It's just, all right, here are the dates of each individual series. So if you're nostalgic for the 1998 Brewers schedule, you get a nice little mini poster.
So that would be perfect for like your desk at work. Like you tack it up like on your little like board there, and you always got it next to the monitor or whatever. That's what that's for. Yeah,
I actually hope I get a 98 Yankees
that would be cool
mini poster, especially with like that being one of the historic MLB seasons of all time. That'd be a really cool one to get. We only got one more pack here, so the odds of it are pretty low, but you never know.
The only schedule related thing I've ever saved is I found like online somewhere like on Facebook Marketplace. It was like a 1974-75 California Golden Seals schedule with like the arena seating map and all that stuff on, and I thought that was kind of cool to have, so I have that in a frame. But
all right, so we start this second pack with a nice little one to watch card. Henry Blanco, catcher with I believe the Kansas City Royals at the time.
Yeah, that looks like the Royals font there.
Let's see, we go right from that to pull that down so we can see Shannon Stewart with the Toronto Blue Jays. Pretty good outfielder. I think he wound up becoming a player agent. So shout out to Shannon Stewart.
He was fast. I remember that about him.
One-time Yankee, Tony Womack. I believe he was the Yankees' second baseman right before they called up Robinson Cano.
That sounds right. The timing sounds right there.
We have the other poster here, so I'm going to put that aside for a second. One surefire, no doubt about it, Hall of Famer and Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah, Cal Ripken, man. I mean, you remember how big a deal it was when he broke the consecutive game streak?
I remember watching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when that was on ESPN, and it must have been like an early September night. And I think it was back to school already. So didn't really get to stay up and watch a lot of it, but certainly saw it.
I remember school had started because I remembered in gym class the next day they wheeled the, remember they used to wheel the TV in. Like you kids have no idea about that nowadays, but like why are they wheeling the TV into gym class? And he wanted to, the gym teacher wanted to show us the moment, so that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And Gary Sheffield here, guy who probably should be in the Hall of Fame, but the MLB voters can't get out of their own way, so kind of is what it is.
I mean, all he was a really good hitter with a cannon for an arm from right. You never ran on him because he was going to gun you down, and he was consistently a top-notch hitter for a very long time.
And one of the all-time great swings. That swagger, that presence he had. You had, before they put up all the safety nets in the stands, you had to be well aware of what was going on when Gary Sheffield was up at bat, because you want to talk about exit velocity. I'm not sure anyone had a higher exit velocity back in his day than Gary Sheffield.
His swing was violent. That's when it made contact with the ball, like you almost felt the ball hit it. He was. I mean, Padres, Brewers, Marlins, Dodgers, Yankees, Braves, finished with the Mets. What a career! 22 years.
And one more mini poster. We did not pull the Yankees schedule for 1998, but we do get Cal Ripken and the 1998 Baltimore Orioles schedule. So, it's pretty big. So I'm trying to find a way to kind of fit the whole thing in there.
That's a pretty good one, though.
That is pretty good, though. So overall, I'm very pleased with these two packs. These were much better than I expected them to be.
You know what schedule would have been cool to pull is either the Diamondbacks or the Rays, because that was their first year in the league.
That was their first season.
So those would have those you might have been able to actually sell on eBay for like an amount of money that would have made it worth it to list if you had pulled one of those. But the Cal Ripken,
I actually might go on eBay and see if I can get a few more of these packs pretty cheap.
I really enjoyed those. They have a great look to them. There's no other than the Henry Blanco is at least an insert, but there was really no nobodies in there. There was no Carmelo Martinez's. I'll put it to you like that. Sorry, Carmelo. Right. Sorry, buddy. There we go. We had we went baseball heavy today. We did a little hockey to start, and now it's going to be we got time to do a starting lineup figure five. We always do, but what sport are we going to do today? Let's find out.
The 1990 Collectors.
Jackson just made my collection because Bo knows baseball.
Will Clark, his lumber is lethal.
Mitchell, Grace, Mattingly, power hitter.
I like the guys I like, Canseco, man can smash the ball a mile. Each sold separately, now with a rookie card. Starting lineup 1990, the Collector's Choice.
They're totally fresh.
They're slamming. They're jamming. They're bad.
Can't not get nostalgic about those commercials, especially when Magic Johnson's closing it out.
I love that. And shout out to the guy who's like, I like the guys I like. You know what? I agree with you, kid. I also like the guys I like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, your favorite player doesn't always have to be a best player. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's get my guy here up on the screen here for baseball reference so I can properly answer your questions. And let's get the music bed going. With that, we got 5 questions to figure out the starting lineup I'm trying to unbox today. Pressure's on.
All right, pressure's on. Is this player a World Series champion?
He is a multi-time World Series champion.
Very nice. Did this player win his championships with the New York Yankees?
He did.
All right.
2 down, 3 to go. I'll be disappointed if you don't get it. You got to narrow it down to the Yankees with 3 to go.
Is this player in the Baseball Hall of Fame?
No, not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
2 to go.
Did I just rip a card of him in the previous segment?
No.
Okay. So that eliminates one player from those teams.
One more question to go.
One question to go. Is this player a pitcher?
This player is not a pitcher.
All right. So, there's a lot of players not in the Hall of Fame who won multiple championships with those late 90s Yankees. There's a lot of directions you can go in, and probably should have answered a question that narrowed it down a little bit more other than eliminating Bernie Williams from the equation, because this could be Paul O'Neill. This could be Tino Martinez. This could be Chuck Knobloch. This could be Scotty Brocious. This could be Ricky LeDay, I suppose, if they made a starting lineup.
They did not. I'll help you out. They did not make a Ricky LeDay. They did make a Chad Curtis with the Angels. We won't talk about Chad Curtis, but they did. He was a fixture. They did not make who was the other random Yankees right fielder that was around that time? Shane something.
Shane Spencer.
There you go. It's not Shane Spencer either.
It could be Jorge Posada. I mean, there's a lot of interesting ones. So, what cockamamie theme could you have possibly gone with this week? Well, I mean, the MLB All-Star Game is this week, so maybe you went with the guy who made the most All-Star games.
It's possible.
So now I gotta try to think who made the most All-Star games out of that entire bunch.
But that may not be it. You don't know.
It might not be it, but I don't really have a better guess. I definitely named whoever it is just
yes,
now.
You definitely named who it is. Not Ricky LeDay, but
right.
So yeah, you got to take the shot.
Yeah, I do have to throw a guess out there. Is it Jorge Posada? There you go.
You got it, my friend. I've been dying to open this one to complete my baseball one. And I did bring this out once before, but we did not open it. We did not get it last time. But what made you go with Jorge there out of the names you guessed? You took Bernie out of the equation, but you did have a couple other ones there.
I actually went with the All-Star theme. I'm sure that's not what you were necessarily thinking, but I was trying to think of who made the most All-Star games out of everybody in that Posada, Tino, Brocious tier, Bernie, and Posada certainly made a lot of them because he was a catcher. So that was the logic I went with.
Well, he made 5. That was not the logic. The logic was I had goalies last week, so this week, the catcher is kind of similar to a goalie. That was literally my thinking process there. And I'm like, you know what? Jorge needs to be unboxed if he can get it because I'm trying to finish up my Yankees display. So, of course, we always start off with the card, and there it is. You got the starting lineup. This was part of the starting lineup 2 series. You can see it focus right there. A little reflective. The cards got way better as the years went on. Part of the extended series from 2001. And so let's throw that card down here. And then here he is. The pose kind of matches it as he's trying to put the bat down there. The face kind of looks like him. Not so much.
Kind of.
I don't know if they actually put urine on the hands before they boxed these up and sent them out. Like he used to pee on his own hands, but nonetheless, that probably wouldn't be very sterile, so I'd imagine pretty clean. But there you go. There's the 20 on the back. No name. Very important detail with Yankee jerseys. No name.
Of course, no name. It drives me nuts, though. It's a home Yankee jersey. It doesn't have pinstripes.
Yeah, that was the thing. They never did. There's no Yankee starting lineup with pinstripes. It's either the gray, which looks accurate, or the white without the pinstripes. So I'm sure you could definitely get customs, but I mean that would probably be pretty expensive to do a pinstripe custom. But yeah, there we go. Jorge Posada. He's going to be joining the starting lineup studio audience next week. And who's he going to be joining? Well, this week in the audience we've got the Vezina winners was the theme for this week. So Olaf Kolzig, Jared got him right last week, got him out of the box. Dominic Hasek there in the middle, 1996 starting lineup, and Grant Fuhr, 1998 there. Pitcher with the Blues, but he won it with the Oilers. Now, just in case you were unaware, so Grant Fuhr won it once in 88 with Edmonton, Kolzig the one time in 2000. Dominic Hasek won the Vezina 6 times. 6. That is absurd. He won it in 94, 95, 97, 98, 99, and 01. So then Marty finally started to get his due once Hasek started to wind down because Marty had none in that stretch.
Yeah, I feel like when Marty finally started winning, it was more of like a career achievement award. Kind of like when Leo got the Oscar for whatever movie it was, even though he had done his best work prior to that. I kind of feel like Marty getting his Vezina was the same thing, where it's like, yeah, he probably had better years earlier in his career, but like you're going up against Hasek. So
Yeah.
it's just tough to win.
And the other thing too is like you're going up against Hasek, but you're going like Brodeur's. Not that his style was boring, but the Devils played a boring style of hockey. Where Dominic Hasek was probably in a Sports Center top 10 every other game.
Highlight reel, yeah.
So that helps with the voters too when you have these like ridiculous, floppy saves that only Hasek could make. So
well, keep in mind the Vezina is voted on by the GMs.
That too. So I mean, it's not just a popularity contest. It's this is what the GMs think, and like you said, that's the one award that the GMs vote on. Now, before we wrap things up, we always do the starting lineup figure 5, but it's time for show me your best pull from today. And I'm gonna bring my camera up to the stage here. I got a few options I could go. The rookie sensations, Kirill Kaprizov. I could go with that Braden Point parallel, or the Sebastian Aho tall boy. That's pretty cool. But Travis Fryman rookie is where I'm going today. We're a baseball episode, and a rookie's a good one to have. That's a clean looking one there. Borders are good. We're gonna hold on to that one.
I will say I can't remember the last time I actually read a Sports Illustrated magazine. I know we used to get them in the office all the time, and every so often I would grab it just, if whoever was on the cover piqued my interest. I don't know if they're still putting the magazines out or if Sports Illustrated is basically dead at this point, but I think my favorite card out of any of them was the one that actually looked like the magazine cover with Matt Williams here. Nice little throwback to that era, and nice little time capsule, I suppose, to an era of sports journalism and something we're probably not going to get a whole lot of anymore. So
I'm pretty sure they
go
don't
with that.
I'm pretty sure they don't do the print anymore. They don't. It's all online probably now.
Yeah, and look, I was never the biggest Sports Illustrated guy, just because a lot of the stories there were like feature stories, and it really just a matter of like if whoever they were highlighting in any particular issue, like I piqued my interest and I cared about them. A lot of times it didn't, or it was stories about sports or teams or whoever that I just wasn't interested in. But I do want to shout out the Sports Illustrated and journalism in general. So that will be my pick here.
And I'm going to say you win because I was hoping you were going to pull one of those Sports Illustrated cards when I saw it, because I thought that was a really cool concept. And like you said, it's just they did a very good job with the card. And you got to remember, at a time before like the internet and social media, like the Balco scandal, like that was Sports Illustrated had that story. That's also like, yes, there was a lot of feature stories about the bigger players of the day, the popular players, trying to get to know them behind the scenes a little bit was a lot of what they did. But they also broke a lot of big stories, and that was the place you went, for those kinds of things. So Sports Illustrated certainly served its purpose for many years. I mean, I had a subscription. Of course, the swimsuit issue is iconic. I think that's the one they still print, of course. But yeah, I mean, I remember, so the year Tyra Banks was on the cover, I made sure to get to the mailbox first, because I remember the year before, whoever it was, when I had the subscription, my mother beat me to the mailbox and was like, nope, you're not getting that. Like, 13. Get out of here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so you're going to go 2 in a row. You're going to win the best pull 2 weeks in a row. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Don't really know that we win anything for it, but it's still nice to get on the ledger. And you got 2 in a row, so you're on fire right now. So maybe you make it 3 in a row on the next episode of Rip and Riff. And don't forget, folks, follow us, like us, subscribe, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. We've got content across all 3 platforms. And also, don't forget, if you are a poker fan, Jared's got a great poker shorts going up at Jared Moore Poker on YouTube, so check that out. And of course, for hockey coverage, we got Total Hockey Now with myself, Anthony Rivera, and Christopher Murray. That'll be coming up weekly as well. We're going to actually have our first mock draft of the season, so that'll be nice. So make sure you check that out. But then again, we'll be back with you next week for sure here on Rip and Riff. But for Jared Moore, at Mr. Jared Moore on Twitter, I am Adam Bernard, at Pucking Thoughts on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate you sitting here and watching and listening to us talk while we open up some cards. Hope to see you next time here on Rip and Riff. Thanks, everybody.